Hey, what's going on? Keith from Trigger Happy. Going to talk about the kind of serious or the really serious subject of guns in the home with children. And we all know the anti-gun crowd and the media in general like to throw statistics at us that say children in the home where there is a firearm are more likely to be injured by that firearm than it being used to defend the home. There's probably some truth to those statistics, and I'll go with them on the simple fact that many gun owners, or I'm not going to say a majority, but many are ignorant when it comes to securing firearms and the proper way to keep them out of the hands of children. This seems so simple, but after owning a gun shop for several years, talking with a lot of people, you find that there are three types of gun owner when it comes to having firearms in the house where there's kids present. And we'll hit on all three, and I'll kind of show you which one you should be. But gun owner number one is the guy that comes in. He is going to buy this gun, and it heads to a closet completely unsecured. This might be his only form of hiding or security, is a pouch like this. So you might find in a household somebody has a double or single action revolver like this Smith 686 kept in a condition 1 or hammer back, which is essentially a hair trigger, and kept in a closet completely unsecured, maybe up under some blankets or in a drawer or wherever. And that is the way they keep their firearm at the ready, which is loaded and cocked and ready to go. And I'm not just talking about revolvers. I just mean any firearm in general, but just kept completely unsecure. It happens. We all find that hard to believe. I remember several years ago here in our area, there was a police officer and his wife that were both arrested because on an unrelated case or charge, officers came to his house. He was not at home, and his kids were at home, and there were firearms loaded and at the ready everywhere, all over the house. And these kids were young, could have easily gotten to them and been injured. So this guy is waiting to bury someone, and that is not anybody we want to emulate or encourage, because they're making a huge mistake by not securing their guns. And we'll talk a little more about that later. The second person is the person that buys a firearm and is very concerned about having this lock that is required to be provided by the government. They require this is provided. But they are very concerned about this. They want to know how it works, how it functions, and they're going to take their firearm home and they're going to lock it up. This is a brick and a useless tool here, if you ask me. This is not readily available, and it is not a means of security in any way that I want to use. So if you haven't used one of these before, they're very hard to do quickly and use quickly. So I'll just demonstrate. Empty magazine, of course. Typically this person would have this firearm in a closet or a drawer or someplace where they could get to it. Keys in a second location where they've got to go to, and a magazine somewhere else because it's obviously not inserted into the firearm. So multiple steps here. So person breaks into the house. I've got to go find these keys, and then I've got to fumble around probably in the dark and get this inserted. And I'm not joking here. This thing kind of travels around here. Guy's still coming. He's in my house. Okay. Magazine at the ready. That's a long time, and that's assuming that I found those keys really quick. They could be 30 seconds or a minute before I got that whole thing taken care of. And again, under no stress, just sitting here in my garage, you can see how much I fumbled around with this thing. This is completely unacceptable. And if you're relying on this for security on a home defense weapon, you're making some mistakes. Quite honestly, these are useful for other things. I use these all the time because they are low security, but on cabinets or lockers or something like that, these work pretty good. So don't throw these out. They have another use. The third person is the practical person, and the person that we should be looking to copy our security means. These little lock boxes or pistol safes or whatever you want to call them are very affordable. This one's about $50 to $70 depending upon where you get it. Designed to lock up one or maybe two firearms at the most. Always going to be a handgun. They do make shotgun or rifle lockers for under your bed. Those are a lot more expensive, but we're just dealing with handguns here. Yes, I have a gun safe. And yes, guns are in it, obviously, some are loaded, some are unloaded for use in an emergency. But my main gun is in this. This is not a deterrent for theft. This is simply a place where I can keep a loaded handgun and I don't have to worry about my children getting to it. Simple combination or a keyed lock. I'm not a big fan of the biometric style. There's just things that can go wrong there. So these push button ones here, obviously I've changed the code. Quick to access, 4 button presses, and there's your handgun. Now again, this one is unloaded and I've cleared all these beforehand. But very simple to get to, and it's very secure. I mean, I can keep this gun cocked and locked, so to speak. I've got additional magazines in there. This is right under my bed. It's super easy to get to, and only my wife and I know the combination too. So my kids can, try several combinations, and eventually it has a timer on it. It's gonna lock them out. So if they keep messing around with it, which my kids are not going to do that, but in the event that they did, it will have a lockout. Again, the biggest thing that we can do as gun owners and as parents is educate our kids. And it's surprising how many people they treat this as a mystery and something to be hidden and something to not be talked about. Most kids, I know when I was a kid, Christmas time comes around and there's secrets and there's things hidden, and I want to find them because it's exciting. And if you treat a firearm like a mystery and something to not talk about and hush hush and put away, kids are going to go looking for it. And I don't care how good your kids are and what kind of parent you've been, if you don't talk to them like you would any other subject about firearms, you're making a big mistake and doing your children a large disservice. My kids are young, 2 kids under the age of 10. Both have shot firearms, not handguns, but they have shot, 22 rifles and things. But they know what a gun is capable of, what it's used for, and why we have them in the house. And we have this discussion regularly. Why does Dad carry a gun? Why is there guns in the house? What do we need them for? And they know what they can do, and they're not as inquisitive. I mean, sure, that might cross their minds at some point, but this isn't a secret in my house. This isn't a mystery. They know they're there and what they're for. So talk to your kids. Knowledge is power. And, don't be this guy or this lady that just relies on a cable to keep your kids safe. And for that matter, this safe is the same thing. Codes can be broken. Things can be overridden. Again, knowledge is power, and I don't want to bury a child. You don't want to bury a child. We have these guns to protect our family. So don't give the anti-gun crowd, the media, another statistic, another talking point. Don't be that person. Treat these guns as they are. They're deadly weapons. They're tools. But we as gun owners should be educated and educate others. that, you know, we don't want to be a statistic. We want to keep our family safe, and that's what gun ownership is all about. So again, thanks for watching. And you know, if you need to rethink your security, do it right now. You know, if you have a gun that is unsecure, whether it's in a vehicle or in your house where kids are present, don't wait. You know, we don't want to hear that anybody's been hurt, killed, injured, anything else. Secure it right now. So thanks for watching. Keith from Trigger Happy. We'll see you next time.